Very, very good afternoon and welcome back from the tea break. I think that all of you are now, waking up a little bit, okay? First of all, a very warm welcome to my three co-panelists and Vikas, Managing Director with Deloitte, Abhilash, who is the CEO with National Stock Exchange, and Mr. Ravi Arora, the Vice President Innovation at the Tata Sons. So a big round of applause for all three of them. This is a very interesting session, and while we are looking at the inaugural session yesterday, the president of AACSB, Tom Robinson, mentioned a very interesting thing, that connecting management to practice, and he gave some figures. He talked about how even the AACSB has changed their accreditation standards by way of including a more broader framework of faculty. So earlier you had only two types of faculty, the academically qualified and the professionally qualified. And he talked about the four different ones: the scholarly academic, the practice academic, the scholarly practitioners, and the instructional practitioners. He also talked about the fact that the percentage of scholarly academic faculty in the business schools are now coming down as the schools start more and more connecting to the practice of management. And what I will do is, first I will share a little bit of a context, because we are talking about what the industry wants from us. In the previous session also we talked about what the industry wants from us. And we at IFIM Business School has been constantly researching on this particular area. And I'm happy that one of the panelists in one of the round tables in Mumbai is right here, which is Abhilash. So I will give you what are our findings in terms of what the industry wants. Okay, and then I will I will look at the panelists to really dwell upon how the institutions can actually engage with the industry. So just to give you a backdrop, we are talking about the history of the management education, the way it evolved, evolved since 1819 when the first B school came up, which is in France, that is ESCP Paris. And if you look at it, 1819 to 1945 was the first phase. 1945 onwards, till around 2000, we can talk about the second phase, where the Ford Foundation report came up, which yesterday was also talked about. 2000 to 2018 is the rise of accreditation. So all this FT ranking, ET ranking, accreditation, all this started becoming popular from then onwards. And 2018 onwards, we can look at how the schools are going to realign themselves, with respect to the industry 4.0 needs. Now, if we look at the prior studies in terms of what the industry expectations are, there are two very seminal studies which has happened. One is the unmet needs, the 8 unmet needs in Professor Srikant Datar's book, Rethinking the MBA, which got published in 2010. So Professor Srikant Datar, David Gravin, and Patrick Cullen, they actually came up with these 8 unmet needs in 2010. Okay. Then the Future of Jobs report of World Economic Forum, they talked about what will be the future needs. That was published in 2016. A quick glance at the two. I think we are all aware of this 8 unmet needs, which is there in Rethinking the MBA. The book is here. And then if you look at the future of jobs, these were the 10 jobs, 10 skills which was identified by the World Economic Forum in 2016. So when we looked at these two, these were done in the global context. So we wanted to understand what the needs of the industry is in terms of in the Indian context. Okay, and that also will be a little bit of different. Now, if we look at the Indian context, we thought of partnering with the National Human Resources Development Network to understand what the industry needs are, with two key questions. Okay, what are the India-specific needs that these schools must address today, okay, and all of us are interested in that. And what will be the response of the Indian companies and academia to the new set of skills identified by World Economic Forum. So that became the, the starting point of our survey. Give you a brief background again. We know that India is a 1.3 billion population, 7th largest economy. There are 10 AACB accredited schools, 4 schools accredited by EQUIS, 10 by AMBA, and that's the context if you look at it. And the first school started in 1953. So we are actually relatively new in the context of B schools as far as management education is concerned. We at IFIM Business School, we got started in 1995. We became the youngest school to be accredited by AACSB. We became the 6th school to be accredited by AACSB. We believe in beyond tomorrow to align ourselves with what are the new age roles and new age industries. And we are located in the Silicon Valley of India, that is Bangalore. As far as the survey was concerned, we reached out with a structured questionnaire to the senior practitioners all over the country. There were 292 responses that we got to our structured questionnaire. And then we followed it up with 3 roundtables, one in Delhi, one in Mumbai, and one in Bangalore. The Mumbai one was, attended by Abhilash, who is right here. So we got very good, CXO level participants. There were 43 CXO level participants in the roundtables where we asked the industry guys as to what you think are the industry needs. So there were 10 needs that got identified, and I will just dwell upon them a little bit. The first one, and we all talked about that, my previous speakers over the last 2 days have talked about it. Number 1 is the learning orientation and analytical mindset. So which means that we are now talking about lifelong learning rather than start and finish type of learning. Number 2, earlier we talked about communication as a gap in the 8 unmet needs of Srikant Datta's Rethinking the MBA. Today we are talking about integration of data, communication, and technology. So when you are communicating, we are communicating across multiple platforms. 3, the whole issue of solution orientation and problem solving. So solution orientation assumes more significance than just strategy making. 4th, because of today we talk about the VUCA world, things are changing very fast. So dealing with change and uncertainty, particularly dealing with unstructured situation. Number 5th one was people and team orientation, which was already there. 6th need that came up was innovation and creativity, entrepreneurial orientation. Okay, yesterday somebody talked about that whether you are an employee or an employer, you need to be entrepreneurially oriented in today's context. Social sensitivity and cross-cultural orientation came out as one of the very strong needs. And I'm happy that some of the schools have actually taken the initiatives in terms of social, in terms of their social initiatives. The 8th one is very interesting. Self-management, which is self-awareness, self-development. We take it as the starting point of leadership development. But a very important need came up, and that is wellness. Okay, that's the whole issue of wellness as one of the very important needs that executives need to be fit. Okay, it is good that when people meet someone and say that you look young, you look fit. We need to be fit, young, and we need to take care of ourselves. Multidisciplinary approach to business. Yesterday, when Professor Shashwabudi was talking about the way the standalone schools have to function, and the whole orientation of the national education policy is also towards making more and more multidisciplinary schools. So I don't know whether the management institutions will survive in isolation, but probably the whole approach will be multidisciplinary to create a broad, wide angle framework. And of course, lastly, and most importantly, globalization, which was already there. So these were the 10 needs identified by the industry, okay, as far as India is concerned. Okay, there is a abridged report I have shared with the speakers that is available on the IFIM Business School website. You can definitely go through this. Okay, it talks about all, it's the full report on what our study was all about. What were the key insights? And these key insights are very important. Number 1 is this, that the workforce has become multi-generation. So you need to really mix the senior executives with the young graduates. So reskilling of practitioners at various levels. B schools to focus on reskilling initiatives. That's important. Then curriculum needs to be individualized with the style, pace, and career stage of each individual learner. I talked about that, integration of data, communication, and technology in business. Research needs to be aligned part of the curriculum. I'm happy that my two faculty colleagues actually presented the research initiative, which is part of the curriculum integrated at our school. Wellness and fitness emerges as critical components of managing self. So, the instructional practitioners, today you might have a gym trainer as a faculty in a B school, okay, or a yoga instructor as a faculty in a B school. Don't ask them to publish in A-star category journals. And that's happening. That's why the SA has come down. The scholarly academic and even the IACSB accreditation has come down. And we need to respect those who bring skills. I think that is the first and most important things. And lastly, solution as reflected in service mindset. The service orientation becomes important and execution assumes more significance than strategy. I think these are the key findings. I'm just sharing what we got, okay? I will just share one of the initiatives which we have taken up with the industry. As we talked about the insight that multi-generation workforce, need for continuous learning, reskilling of practitioners, modular reskilling initiatives. My SPJIMR presented about that, the program where there's modular reskilling of executives in the social sector, and of course globalization. Now what we have introduced is a super specialization in new age areas, okay, because we are talking about skills. So for example, fintech, martech, digital transformation, blockchain, these are new areas. We don't get easy expertise in those areas. So what we have done is we have actually collaborated with some of the top schools like blockchain with Austin at McCombs Austin. We have collaborated with the Darden for martech, ESCP London for fintech, and the program mixes executives from our partner companies with the MBA participants. So they work together and learn together, which addresses the whole issue of multi-generation workforce. And they actually do, it's a problem-solving approach. So you not just specialize in marketing, but you specialize in martech, not just finance, but fintech. So we need to deep dive. Yesterday, Dr. Tom Robinson talked about the T-shaped curriculum. So we have just made the T sharper below. Okay, the T sharper below means finance with fintech, marketing with martech. So while we have the broad, the broad horizontal on the top, but the specialization is not just limited to the major, but super specialization. Okay, so that's the approach that we have taken, and I think this is what is probably the need way we identified in our survey. I am happy to share with you that we are also aligning with the, collaborating with the industry to do things, so bringing industry, academia, and the students together. Recently, we launched the IFIM Academy of Indian Marketing Parasuraman Center for Service in in our institution, which is to bring in practice, bring in industry, and the institutions together, somewhat like the MSI model. The questions that I would like to ask to the panelists over here is few questions, which is one, skill gaps are at various levels. How can we collaborate with the industry as institutions? What has been your experiences of collaboration, and what models institution and the industry can collaborate together to make things happen? Okay, I would request each one of you to spend around 10-15 minutes, and then we can take the audience questions. So I would start with Ravi, if you can start with your perspective, and then we will follow with Vikas and then Abhilash. Thank you. Thank you.